The FIA introduced a budget cap of $140 million for the 2022 season, which is $5 million less than the previous season's budget cap. Now the top teams are raising concerns about it and are looking for ways to remain within the limit. The budget cap is introduced to limit the spending frenzy of big teams and provide a level playing field for everyone in the competition. Raising concerns over the changing economic condition in the world, the big teams, Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes, are asking for compensation or a possible increase in the cap. Other teams, however, are on board with the budget cap and are sure that they won't go over the limit. In this video, we are going to look at the concerns of the big teams and the opposition of others on the budget cap issue. The top teams in season 2022 are constantly raising concerns about the budget cap. They think it would be impossible for them to remain within the limit because of rising inflation, which has increased the cost of moving cars, parts and team members around the world. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff believes that the purpose of the budget cap is understandable and it is not necessary to voice concerns every year to lift the cost cap up. However, rising inflation is a big concern, which was not expected to push prices to the level it now has when teams agreed to the budget cap. Talking about the increased cost, Toto Wolff said Ferrari and Red Bull said that they had to reduce staff members to remain within the limit. Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto said, "I don't think there is any way for us and for many teams simply to stay within. Laying off people, I don't think that's a good and right choice." Red Bull team principal Christian Horner, raising the same concerns, said, "We recognised, we reshaped and we had to say goodbye to many long-time employees through redundancies last year to get down to a point that was consummate with the cap before inflation came along, and I don't think it's right that the pressure should be put on mass redundancies within the sport." After doing all that, there are concerns that some teams might have to go as far as skipping races to remain under the budget limit. Talking about the issue, Mattia Binotto said, "Probably about 7 of the teams probably need to miss the last 4 races to come within the cap this year, from the consensus that there has been up and down the paddock." His comments suggest that the big teams will cross the cap. Another problem is that the punishments are not clear if any team were to breach the limit. About the lack of clarity issue, Christian Horner said, "What we don't want to end up doing is there's a 5% threshold for minor breach. What is the penalty for a minor breach? What we don't want to do is end up playing a game of chicken, as to say, does he go to 4.9 over and do we go to 4.7 over? Teams like Alpine and Alfa Romeo have discarded the concerns from the top teams and are confident that they could easily remain within the budget cap irrespective of the inflation. Alpine's Otmar Safnauer said that it was wrong of the big teams to now raise concerns over a budget cap that was agreed by them. All the teams sat down and came to a compromise solution, tilted in favour of the big teams, of keeping the budget cap at $140 million when the smaller teams wanted it to be around $100 million. Advising teams to cut down their development budget, he said, "So when freight costs go up by 2.5 to 3.5 million, but your development budget is 20 million, can you not make your development budget 17 million and still be under the cap? You can. But what that then does is it limits your development, and you're in a development race." Alfa Romeo team principal Frederic Vasseur argued along the same lines as Otmar Safnauer and said, "We have to stop the development of the car because we will be at the limit of our budget, and I think everybody can do the same." Moreover, they said they would continue to oppose any increase in the cap to keep the level playing field in the competition. There is a lack of clarity on what punishments teams will undergo if they breach the limit. The British team Williams was the first team to be punished under the budget cap rules. It was fined $25,000, not for overspending, but for the team's failure to hand over financial documents on time. From fines, reduction in points, to eventually being dropped out of the championship, the FIA could punish teams in various ways depending on the severity of the breach, which could ultimately decide the fate of teams in the championship. The competition could be dragged to the FIA appeals court, as Red Bull team principal Christian Horner said. What we really want is clarity, because none of us want to end up at the end of the season all rushing to courts of appeal in Paris saying he spent $1 million more than we did and so on. So I think we've just got to come to a sensible threshold. This is not how the fans or the teams would want to see the competition end. All the teams decided on the budget by mutual consultation, and any changes should happen the same way. Teams must sit and talk about the issue because the budget for the 2023 season is capped at $135 million, which is $5 million less than that of the current season. It shows that there needs to be a serious discussion among all the teams and FIA to mutually decide how they will go ahead with the budget cap. As Toto Wolff said, in that respect, there needs to be some kind of compromise between the teams that are against the need for an inflationary adjustment and the teams that are for. Moreover, FIA must make sure that there are no breaches in the budget cap because they want everyone to adhere to the rules for the smooth functioning of the ever-growing sport. As Mattia Binotto said, for me, the most important is many teams will breach it. And that, I think, will be simply bad for the financial regulations. The comments Rose Brawn, Formula One Managing Director, are reassuring for teams, showing concerns about the budget cap. As reported by motorsport.com, he said, "I think the inflationary increase needs to be revised, because when these rules were developed, inflation was relatively low and predictable, and now it's high and unpredictable." Let us know in the comment box what you think about the budget cap issue. That's it for today. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.